In this video, you will learn some of the basic features of Neo4j Desktop version 1.4.1. When you open Neo4j Desktop for the first time, this is what you will see. It comes with a Neo4j primer project, and you can see that the active DBMS is the movie database. The movie database is a pre-populated graph containing people and movies and is a good data model for learning how to write cipher code. The browser guide for this project steps you through some basic cipher code for accessing the graph. You access the browser guide using Neo4j Browser, which is a graph app for accessing a started DBMS. There are many ways to open Neo4j Browser. By using the Open button for a started DBMS, or by opening a browser guide for a project. Here is a brief look at Neo4j Browser. When in a browser guide, you can step through the pages of the guide. When you click on a cipher code block in the guide, it brings the code into the Query Edit pane where you can execute the code by clicking the play button. Neo4j Browser has many features that enable you to explore the databases in your DBMS. Results returned in Neo4j Browser help you to validate and understand the data in the graph. However, in this video, we will focus on Neo4j Desktop. With Neo4j Desktop, you can create multiple projects that are shown in the sidebar here. A project in Neo4j Desktop is a representation of a development folder on disk. Within each project, you can create local DBMSs, add connections to remote DBMSs, and add files. Some important things to know about Neo4j Desktop are that you can create a local DBMS, which is an enterprise DBMS. It can only be accessed, however, by processes running on your local system. You can have only one DBMS running at a time, or one connection to a remote DBMS. Let's create a new project. We select New in the project sidebar. The default name for a project is Project. We want a custom name for our project, so we select the Edit button and change the name of the project. In a project, you can add one or more local DBMSs, connections to remote DBMSs, and files. Let's create a local DBMS. When you create a local DBMS, you can change the name of the DBMS to describe your use case. You must specify a password that you should remember, as it may be required for clients connected to the DBMS. Neo4j Browser started from Neo4j Desktop automatically uses this password, but other clients may need the username of Neo4j and the password you specify here to connect. Next, you can specify the version of the DBMS you want to use. Here we see that the default version that comes with this version of Neo4j Desktop is 4.2.1. Notice that you have many versions of the DBMS to choose from, but each one shown here will require that resources need to be downloaded in order to create these versions. Then you click Create to create the DBMS for the project. If you click the area to the right of the DBMS name, the details for the DBMS are shown, including information about the database and if it is started, the ports it uses. The Plugins tab shows the libraries or plugins that you can install for the DBMS. What plugins are available to this DBMS will depend on the version of the DBMS. And the Upgrade tab shows information about upgrading the DBMS. Let's add another DBMS to our project. We name it something different and make sure that we provide a password. Let's add the APOC library to this DBMS. Adding this plugin enables us to use a large number of useful procedures and functions in our cipher code. Most Neo4j developers use the APOC library. We want to start one of the DBMSs that we just created, but we already have an active DBMS. We must first stop the active DBMS. Now let's start one of our DBMSs. Once started, we can access it with some of the clients that come with Neo4j Desktop. Let's look at some of the ways you can work with the DBMS. The three dots to the right of the Open button show some of the ways you can manage a DBMS, whether it is running or not. We click the dots to the right of the Open button. Here we select Settings. The settings are the configuration properties for the DBMS. This file is called neo4j.config. You can also examine the log file for the DBMS. This is helpful for troubleshooting problems. Each DBMS has its own set of folders that you can open. The import folder is often used to place CSV files you import into the graph. You can open a terminal window in the folder for the DBMS where you can access tools and Cipher Shell and other files for the DBMS. Let's look at what you can do in the sidebar. In the project sidebar, you can switch between projects. Note, however, that the active DBMS is always shown at the top, no matter what project you are working on. The Databases area shows the names, locations, and versions of the DBMSs. The Graph Apps area shows all apps currently installed. You can open any of them for the active DBMS. You can also open the Graph Apps Gallery to explore and install other useful graph apps. The Notifications area shows important information about your installation and update status. In the Settings area, you can select or deselect options, and you can configure a proxy if needed for your environment. You can work in offline mode, but we recommend that you stay online so that updates to the product can be automatically installed and the versions of the DBMS can be downloaded if you need them. The Software Keys area is used for your activation key for Neo4j Desktop or for any other graph app that may need a key. And finally, here is more information about this version of Neo4j Desktop. This completes our tour of how to get started using Neo4j Desktop version 1.4.1.